Hi, and welcome to Revelation Knowledge. My name is Paul, and I'm a born-again man of the household of God. Today I'm going to take you on a short journey to explore how the Word became flesh. Let us begin our journey by reading a page of my book, Word Magic, Born Again. The book of Genesis uses parables, metaphors, and mysteries to tell you about the building of atoms to create the physical body of man, DNA, and genes. Hence the title Genesis. Did you notice that the root word of Genesis is gene? The word gene means the basic physical unity of heredity, a linear sequence of nucleotides along a segment of DNA that provides the coded instructions for synthesis of RNA, which, when translated into protein, leads to the expression of hereditary character. On a deeper level, genes are made up of letters. Today, scientists refer to these letters as genetic letters, which are the letters that are used to create the coded instructions for instructing cells to synthesize proteins. 4 letters make up the genetic alphabet: A, T, G, and C. In one sense, a gene is nothing more than a sequence of those letters, like T, T, G, A, GCATA, which has a certain biological meaning or function. But what makes a series of letters have meaning? What gives it a function? In the most straightforward case, it happens because a gene is translated into a protein, a tiny molecular machine. Proteins are made of amino acids, and each gene lists the amino acids that make up a specific protein. Since there are only 4 genetic letters, but 20 different amino acids, the information in a gene is organized into 3-letter words called codons. These 4 letters here, A, T, G, and C, are used to represent the 4 nucleotides found in DNA. To learn more about these 4 letters, let us read another page from my book, Word Magic, Born Again. Is there evidence that God used the Hebrew alphabet to create the universe? To find one of the pieces of evidence, we need to delve into the book of Genesis and read the first verse. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. It is important to know that a very important word is missing in the verse thereof. To find the missing word, we need to study the original text of Genesis, which was written in Hebrew. When the translators of the original text of Genesis translated Genesis 1:1 to another language, they removed one crucial Hebrew word, et, and therefore did not translate it. The Hebrew word et was written after the Hebrew word Elohim in Genesis 1:1. So if we go back to, we go to this website, BibleHub.com, we can see here that the et is missing in the translation. So you have Elohim, which means God, and then et. So this is missing in the translation. In the English translation of Genesis 1:1, the Hebrew word Elohim was substituted with the word God. Keep this in mind as you read the next few paragraphs. The Hebrew language is read from right to left, so the first letter of the Hebrew word et is aleph, and the second letter is tav. The aleph is the first letter and the tav is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. In the English alphabet, the first letter is A and the last letter is Z. If the translator did not remove the Hebrew word et, the English translation of Genesis 1:1 would read something like this: In the beginning, God, AZ, created the heaven and the earth. In the previous sentence, the AZ, first and last letters of the English alphabet, was put after the word God to show you where the et, first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet, was supposed to be. The et, or the AZ, is called the Alpha and the Omega in the New Testament. Keep in mind that this testament was originally written in Koine Greek. The Alpha and the Omega are the Greek alphabet's first and last letters, respectively. They are the beginning and the end, and represent the word Jesus in the New Testament. In the book of Genesis of the Old Testament, which was originally written in Hebrew, the Alpha and the Omega is the Aleph and the Tav. Once you understand the relationship between the Aleph Tav in the Old Testament and the Alpha Omega in the New Testament, it is not hard to see that Genesis 1:1 declares God and the Word created the heaven and the earth. Hence the words Elohim and Et in the original text of Genesis 1:1 and the plural pronoun us in Genesis 1:26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." So the word us here is referring to Elohim and Et, which is God and the Word. Let us now investigate the letters G and C of the DNA. The letters G and C are derived from the Gimel, the third letter of the Proto-Sinaitic alphabet. In Greek, the Gimel was transformed into the Gamma, which is the third letter of the Greek alphabet. The Greek letter Gamma has a strong connection to the word photon. In fact, in physics, a photon is indicated by the symbol gamma. So let us read another page of my book, Word Magic, Born Again, to learn more about this. One of the definitions of photon is a quantum of electromagnetic radiation, usually considered as an elementary particle that is its own antiparticle, and that has zero rest mass and a charge and a spin of 1. In physics, a photon is usually indicated by the symbol gamma. The uppercase of gamma is this Greek symbol. The Greek symbol gamma has a strong connection to the English word grammar. Gamma, the third letter of the Greek alphabet, is derived from the Phoenician letter Gimel. This letter Gimel is the origin of the English letters C and G. Keep in mind that the first letter of the English word grammar is G. The letter G is also the first letter of the word God. Many esoteric, occult, and religious teachings have said that God is light. Remember, light is also known as photon, and the symbol for photon is gamma. This Greek symbol gamma is one of the origins of the English letter G, the initial letter of the word God. Let us now look at the definitions of the words gamma and photon to see the connection between these two words. So gamma, the word gamma, it uses the symbol right here, and the word photon, it also uses this symbol. So the symbol gamma it is used to represent photon and the word gamma. And photon is a form of light. Let us read page 138 through 40 of Mysteries of the Alphabet to learn more about the letter C. So this is page 138 of Mysteries of the Alphabet. The letter C, the letter of the alphabet, is derived from the third letter of the Proto-Sinaitic alphabet, Gimel. The word Gimel comes from the word Gamel, which means camel, thanks to its hump. The camel can retain water and cross the desert, the frontier. It is the vehicle that carries one into the beyond. Okay, so it is the vehicle that carries one into the beyond. It makes it possible to travel and implies geographical separation and a psychological rift. So let us go to this page, next page here. The graphic transformation of the Gimel is quite simple. After the Proto-Sinaitic, this symbol here, or this symbol, or this symbol, the Proto Canaanite form of the 13th century BCE is as follows, this symbol here, which eventually turns into this symbol and then this symbol. The transition of Greek follows another reversal process. Gimel becomes gamma. The symbol here, Hebrew Gimel, becomes this symbol here, Greek gamma. Then this symbol, Eastern Greek alphabet. Then this or this or this symbol. This becomes this symbol, Western Greek alphabet. And then this symbol, Classical Greek alphabet. So let's go to the next page. In 250 BCE, the Romans introduced a new letter, the G, which was merely a modified C, in order to be able to give the voiced explosive G a letter of its own. To avoid changing the order of the alphabet, the new letter G replaced the Greek letter Z, zeta, which the Latins had inherited but did not use, so that there was a gap. Later, sometimes in the 1st century BCE, when closer contact with the Greeks made it necessary to transcribe Greek words, the Latins once again incorporated the Z into the alphabet. Since it had lost its place, it was added to the end, where it remains to this day. That is how the Gimel evolved from the Proto-Sinaitic camel's neck or hump, this symbol or this symbol, via the Archaic Phoenician, this symbol, then through the Greek gamma, this symbol or this symbol, or this symbol, which came C, pronounced K, in Etruscan. It then became G, again in Latin, written with a slight modification to distinguish it from K. A little bar and a curve were added. The letter C represents the vehicle that carries things from the invisible realm to the visible realm. This allows spiritual words to travel from the spiritual realm to the physical realm to manifest matter. It is important to remember that the letters G and C have the same origin and therefore are in a sense one letter. This reminds me of the Bible verses 1 John 5:7 and John 10:30. So let us go to those verses. John 1:5-7. For there are three that bear witness in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, and these three are one. John 10:30. I and my Father are one. These two verses declare that God and Christ are one. Keep in mind that the first letter of the word God is G, and the first letter of the word Christ is C. All letters contain vibrations produced by the power of sound. The word uses the vibration of the letters, or more specifically the genetic codes of the DNA, to translate photon, also known as light or energy, into proteins, which become flesh. To connect the dots, in order for the word, which is the Aleph and the Tav, in the New Testament, the Aleph and the Tav is called the Alpha and the Omega. So in order for the word to become flesh, he needs to travel from the spiritual realm to the physical realm. I believe the vehicle that the word uses to do this is a field of electromagnetic waves, also known as a field of light. By way of light, the word travels throughout the DNA and uses its genetic codes to manufacture proteins, which becomes flesh. So this is how the word became flesh and dwelt among us. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. The Bible is prophetic and scientific. Hidden in the Bible is the knowledge of genetics and DNA. When we understand how the Word became flesh, we will know in our hearts that God is the true author of the Bible. We will also know that there is only one way back to God, and that is through the Aleph and the Tav, also called the Alpha and the Omega, which is the Word. Jesus is the Word made flesh and the only way back to the Father. Jesus said to him, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Thank you for watching my video about how the Word became flesh. If you received some revelations from watching this video, like this video and subscribe to my channel. And remember to praise God, thank Him, and give Him all the glory.